Trinity of Sin, Pandora, number 10, written by Ray Fawkes, art by Ig Guara. So, Forever Evil happened. Forever Evil Blight happened. Pandora was wrapped up in all that. I'm not going to recount that. Safe to say she has a new power within her. So this issue picks up, and real quick, this issue explicitly says that the events of Forever Evil lasted months. Like, months have passed since the crime syndicate showed up, which I feel like goes against everything else that DC continuity is telling me. But sure, whatever, months have passed. And like the world is broken, everything sucks like everywhere, but they are starting to rebuild. And we cut over to Marcus. And if you remember, Marcus is the guy who Pandora basically handed her shattered box to and said, fix this. It's a transdimensional portal. I would like that fixed. And Marcus, he's given up. He's like, I can't do it. There's no way I can fix this. It's beyond my capabilities. I'm useless. And all of a sudden, Pandora walks in. And Marcus is like, oh my God, Pandora, I didn't hear from you once everything went back to normal. I thought maybe you died. And Pandora's like, I literally can't. But here's the thing. I have so much to tell you. And she transforms into like her Super Saiyan form. And she kisses Marcus and says, I love you. And if you're like me, you're wondering, I'm sorry, where was this? What was this? So she explains, all the sins are destroyed. We beat Blight. No need to read those earlier issues. Also, I have a new power set. Marcus is like, I see that. Also, you said you love me. What's that about? And she's like, well, I was thinking about it, and throughout all of my life, you've been like reincarnated over and over, and through all the lifetimes, your soul has loved me, and I realize I love you back. So we're going to make it through this. And Marcus is like, okay, but like, were you paying attention during Forever Evil? Like, stuff is crazy. People are dying out there. It is a bad time overall. And she's like, it's all right. We're going to go out and we're going to save everyone. No one else has to suffer. So we then go to Arlington, Virginia, and we meet up with Agent Kincaid, who is one of the people who, before everything that happened in Blight, was going to investigate Pandora on being Pandora. And she is met up with a man named Gabriel Lucas from Shade. And he's just like, hey, look, a bunch of Argus people were killed in Forever Evil. Turns out that Pandora is no longer a top priority. We have other orders, so don't worry about it. Just drop her. Is that clear? I gotta go, though, because I might be a vampire, is what he's basically saying. The sun's coming up and he just disappears in a cloud of smoke. And Agent Kincaid's like, nah, you can tell your bosses to shove it. I'm going to keep going after Pandora. So we go down to Baltimore and they're looking over all the wreckage of the Inner Harbor. And it's just like, oh man, there are survivors out there. We can go, we can get them. And before they can do literally anything, Giganta shows up, grabs Pandora, just starts beating her into submission. She's like, hey, do you remember when we met up just before you had to tie into Forever Evil Blight? You beat me up and you took out my eye. Well, I've had my eye regrown and now I'm super pissed at you. And she picks up Pandora and Pandora's like, Giganta, you can't kill me. And she's like, oh no, I'm counting on that. And she picks her up and snaps her spine in half and rips off her legs and throws them aside. And Pandora looks over at the legs and she's like, oh, Jesus, this is pretty gruesome even for me. And Giganta's like, I know, right? But like, you're feeling it all, aren't you? You're going through all the pain, even if you are just going to heal up. So she tosses down Pandora's top half and yeah, that's that. So then we cut over to somewhere in Kentucky where we get car after car is just being stopped by this man who is mass murdering people. And as he walks down this road, every car that comes across him, one of them ends up hitting him. He stands back up. We see it's Vandal Savage. And he just continues to kill all of these people because Pandora, before Blight happened, said, oh, Vandal Savage, you have some good in you. And Savage did not take kindly to that. So, cutting back to Baltimore, Pandora has healed up her legs. And Giganta's like, all right, let's do that again. And so Pandora goes Super Saiyan, and she does a weird light ball thing. And Giganta's like, what? Okay, you got some fancy armor. I'm still going to rip you in half. But then she looks down and she sees that her heart is glowing. And Pandora gives the whole backstory for Giganta. She's like, oh, your name is Dr. Doris Zool. You had a, like, immuno disease or something like that. It was going to cause you to be like weak and fragile throughout your life. You didn't have any friends, and you dedicated your life to finding a cure for your disease, and you ended up testing it on yourself before it was ready. And it did make you big and strong, but it also robbed you of your intellect. And it's a whole thing of basically like, oh, you always shut out other people, blah, 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 now you're evil. And Giganta doesn't want to hear it. She's like, nope, shut up, I don't want to hear that, stop it. And she starts kicking over buildings, and Pandora's like, no, you have to listen, there's still hope. You can still be good again. You're not evil deep down. And so she starts freaking out. Marcus comes out with a rocket launcher. He's like, hey, bullets may not work, but this will. Fires it at Giganta's head. And Pandora's like, no, wait. And she jumps in the way of the rocket. And it knocks her into a nearby building. And Marcus is like, Pandora, you jumped in the way of the rocket. Let me try again. And he readies up another shot against Giganta. But she is shrunk down and she's, crying. She's like, oh, this is a bad idea. I shouldn't have done this. So Marcus goes over to Pandora and he's like, yo, why'd you jump in the way of a rocket? That was really dumb. And Pandora's like, during Blight, I had a realization that Batman has it right. I can't kill people. It's not the right way of doing things. I have seen now that there is not a person on Earth who is purely evil. Everyone has some good in them that can be redeemed, and I can bring it out of them. That is my mission now. And we end on a 3-panel little progression of Vandal Savage as she's saying that everyone can be redeemed, and Vandal's just looking more and more pissed as he walks towards the camera. So, yep, Pandora versus Vandal Savage. That's the line we're going with. All right, I'm going to give the issue the tiniest bit of credit here, which is to say it does a good job of reminding me what in the hell was going on before Blight, because obviously this book only had like 3 issues to establish itself before it was wrapped up in all that. So good on it for going back and saying, no, here's what was happening. Like, we had Agent Kincaid, and we had Vandal Savage, and we had Giganta, and she fully lists out like exactly what happened to her in that issue. I appreciate that. However, the problem I have with it coming back is that Pandora says now that she's like, no, we can't kill. I see a different way, blah, blah, blah. Bro, I read Blight. That didn't come up in Blight. Like, at no point was that a thing where, like, she made the conscious decision to say, I will not kill again. So this new characterization is just kind of out of nowhere. I like the fact that Marcus is straight up still in the old mode. He's like, I got a rocket launcher. Let's see if that works. But yeah, no, I kind of just wish it would have done a little bit more to, like, I guess back in Blight just to say, no, Pandora's made this change and she's not going to kill people anymore. But no, beyond that, it's all just set up. We're all just setting up for, like, what are we doing? What's the next couple issues going to be? So we'll see how that turns out. All in all, I give this issue, like, I give it like a 7. It's all right. It's fine. It does feel like it's actually doing something here and setting up something that might be interesting, but I really hope they give Pandora a little bit more interest than her current, like, super sunny positive outlook, because I gotta tell you, this is not interesting of someone who's just like, everything's gonna be fine and it's great and hooray.